Well, good evening, YouTube. Um, that light's not staying on. Bear with me 1 second. That through it, and then the other one, that should do the job. So, basically, I know you can't hardly see me, but it's night time and we're in the UK, and that's what happens. I don't know if it's going to stay on. Let's try that. So, as you can see, I've arrived back in the UK. What you can't see is, well, you can see I'm in my car. I'm back at the campsite. Uh, It was an eventful trip, to say the least. Everything went fine from Manila to Beijing. Got to Beijing, and there was something wrong with the time board where they put the flights up. Flights delayed and all this. So there's always a list of which terminal, which gate, what time, airline, and airline flight number. So when I got there, straight away, this man from the Philippines, he'd obviously been on the same flight as me, and he came straight to me and said, "Are you flying on to London?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, there's something wrong." I said, "Well, it's okay, just stay with me, you'll be all right. I sort of know what I'm doing." Anyway, we went to this flight board, information board, and it was telling us that the flight, it didn't say the flight was delayed, it just gave us the flight time as 2 hours later as what was on my ticket. Um, so, a bit confused. I said, "Well, okay, just means we got more time to relax." Anyway, he went off to have a look round. Said he was going to stick with me, but he went off to look round, and he'd obviously found somebody else to talk to, so another Filipino. And they walked past me and said, "Oh, we're just going for a walk." I said, "That's fine." So, what I do know is I looked at my ticket again about an hour later, and something wrong here. Went back up to this information board about flight information, and they changed it. So I was at gate 13, and they changed it to 31, so the 1 and 3 the other way around. So suddenly it was gate 31, and the time was back to where it should have been in the first place. So not at 7:30 or whatever it was, or 4:30. I couldn't see these two men, and I know for a fact they didn't get on the plane. So whatever happened to them, I'm sorry for them, but if they had stuck with me, they might have been okay. Well, I had to run once I realised what was going on, and they were boarding as I got to the right gate, because you can imagine um, Beijing, big airport as it would be, and these gates, they're all over the place, and you've got to find the certain numbers. They're like in groups of numbers, 29 to 43, and all this sort of stuff. It's quite complicated, and it was a long way. Now, I can't run. My leg's quite bad over the years, so I can't run. I have to walk at my best sort of pace. I got there, and they were just boarding, so I was lucky. I got away with it. I really thought I was going to miss my flight, and I thought, what do I do now? It's going to cost me a lot of money. Got away with it. Um, so I know I never saw them again. These two men, so I don't know what happened to them. They weren't on the flight, and I couldn't. I was looking out, but I couldn't go looking for them. I was going to miss the flight myself. Anyway, got to Heathrow, no problems at all. Our family members and David, they came to pick me up, so that all went well. But again, that was another thing on my taking on my information. It said we would be landing at Terminal 3. But luckily at the Heathrow, it was telling the people Terminal 2, and that's actually where we landed, was Terminal 2. So something weird was going on there. In Beijing, they opened my suitcase because I had a phone charger in there, the charger packs, the bigger ones, with lithium batteries. You're not allowed to have it in your suitcase. You can have it in your hand luggage, but you can't have it in your main luggage because that goes to a lower deck, obviously in the plane, and would heat up and cause problems, I can imagine. So they spotted that in China. Somehow they cracked the code on my suitcase, which has got a number code on it, and they put a big piece of A4 paper in there with all this big form of what they'd done and everything, and they put that in the suitcase, and they'd actually put the lock back on. How they managed to unlock it and find the code, not quite sure how they've done that, but they did, and they put it back on again. So that was another thing. But what's never happened to me before is I've come out to the baggage area where you collect your luggage and that. There's different belts for different airlines that are coming in. Mine was number 10, so I went up to it, and lo and behold, I got there. My my suitcase was coming round in front of me like that. That has never happened to me. Normally it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes until, you know, they go round and round and round, and they put a few more and it goes on forever. Anybody who's flown a lot, they'll know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I've never had that. I walked up to the conveyor belt, and as I got there, my suitcase, I managed to reach out and grab it. And I thought, thanks. So out I go. So my family was there waiting for me. Um, Off we went. We stopped on the way back at a nice big meal um, at a carvery type place. So enjoyed that, and then went to a pub and had a few pints. Got up this morning. I went off round Hayling Island because I haven't had any pipe tobacco for nearly 2 weeks, and it was raining as well this morning. So I went. I was told where there was a Tesco, so I went up that, and eventually I had to walk all the way round, back round to the promenade. Quite a walk, so I walked a couple of miles this morning just to get some pipe tobacco, but I did eventually get that. So then, after breakfast and everything, we went off. We went on our travels from Portsmouth, or just outside Portsmouth, off up to Hereford. We get within an hour of getting back to our destination in Leicester, and their car then broke down. The clutch failed. We were stuck on a junction. I had to jump out quick and push them into. Luckily, it was right by a petrol station, so that happened as well. my mate Paulie came to fetch me from there, and I spoke to them on the phone, and they did get to their destination, but I felt a bit guilty because I left them there after them coming to fetch me from Heathrow and then bringing me up to Herefordshire. But they are okay, so they've got to where they wanted to be. So that's good. I've been in touch with them. So what goes on then? I've then come to the campsite, and my new tent is waiting for me. My car's waiting for me. A bit of help again from my mate who's got one of these charger pack things connected to the battery. Away it goes. Great. So that was nice, and got the tent, the two of us, and then the winds picked up. So we spent literally hours. I think it must have been over 3 hours in the end. We tried to put this tent up. We've sort of got it up, and I'll show you that in the morning when it's daylight. I've just been off to town now to get a bit of shopping because I had nothing here. So I couldn't film it then. I needed to get from here. I had left the car running to charge the battery up, and that's all fine. That's working. But the tent's up of a fashion. We're expecting apparently high winds this weekend. It's been windy today, but it's settled now, but it has raining. Well, it's raining now. So the big thing now is the new tent waterproof. It's not up as it should be. It's obviously a cheap Chinese tent. It's a big thing. That's why I bought it. It's over 6'9" tall. I'm 6'2", so I can stand up in it. I can walk straight into it. 4 meters long by about 2 meters wide. So it's plenty big enough. Whether it's going to be waterproof, it doesn't look good. It does look a bit cheap and nasty. The guide ropes are really cheap and nasty. The tent pegs, they're cheap and nasty, too thin. They won't stay in the ground because the ground is waterlogged anyway. So even the better ones, quality ones I've got, they're struggling staying out. But after 3 hours of struggling, we have got it up of a fashion, and I've put all my stuff in there to weigh it down so I don't get blown away. And yeah, that's about it for now. So I've been to town. I've got my bit of shopping, my bread, my cheese, some cup of soups, some mushrooms, like I say, some bread and some sauces, and I go to a local Aldi, if people don't know it, and I buy these sort of things. Peri rice. I did promise myself I wouldn't be eating any rice for a while, because that's basically, in any part of Asia, that's basically what you live on. That's the staple diet is rice. But for me, it's so simple to put these in the frying pan or saucepan, whatever, and then fry them up quick. It takes literally a couple of minutes. So that's a convenient food for me. So I've got myself a bit of cheddar cheese, and yeah, that's about it. Some peanuts. Yeah, so I'm rambling on again now. So a bit of a stressful time. Like I always say, there's a lot worse things happening in the world than my little problems, but you know, I keep on about it. Yeah, so I will probably show a bit tomorrow about my tent. I'm going to town to get some better stuff for it, better guide ropes, better tent pegs. There's a couple of good camping shops in Hereford. So I'm going to go see what I can find and sort this tent out, because the storms are coming on the weekend. Tomorrow's already Friday, so I've got to sort this out. and the tent still needs rearranging a bit so it's perfectly straight. At the moment it's just sort of there. The time was getting on, gave up, and eventually we nearly gave up a few times altogether, saying we weren't going to do this, it wasn't going to happen, but I was getting a bit stressed out and I didn't want to quit. After travelling, like say 10,000 miles, I just wanted things to go right for once. And it didn't, but like I say, the tent is standing of a fashion. I'll show you that in the morning in the daylight. If it is waterproof, it will turn out to be quite a nice tent, I think. When I've strengthened everything with these new guide ropes and everything. So yeah, I will show you that in the morning. Everybody take care. So I'm back in the UK now, new season in the UK. It's all about finding work now, and building up my savings again. So when I go back in the start of winter, back to the Philippines again. So like, subscribe if you like to, it would be great. And I'll be speaking to you soon, tomorrow no doubt, and everybody take care. Bye for now.